Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. And as you can see, for this video it'll be different. Uh, Obviously you can see my face. I'm talking to the camera, and secondly, the video will be a bit long, so that's why I plan to do it like this. Because I plan to go to a more of concept a concept for Rag for God of War 2018 and Ragnarok's combat, and also like trying to teach you guys on the fundamental of how Ragnarok's and 2018 combat works. And yeah, as you can see, I'm using my phone as a microphone because I feel like it's way better this way. So yeah, I'll actually have two parts of this video. So like the first part, I'll be explaining about the structure, and also the playstyle of God of War combat. And the second part will be more of the second part is will be more of a I'll be using like a real life examples of how you can apply, not real life example, sorry, like a you can apply this to other games as well, of like why is it important to understand combat mechanics, and all that. So yeah. And uh, there are also like expectation of what I expect you to learn. Like after watching this video, what I would expect you to learn, or like I would expect you to understand is that I have it written down here. Actually, I have a whole book writing down. It's like a couple pages. Yeah. So yeah, I have write it down here. So it says like, what do I expect from you after watching this video? So I want you to be like, I want you to analyze how, okay, again, I'm repeating myself. I want you to analyze how the combat works in Ragnarok, the fundamentals. And also I want you to try to like apply the knowledge in different games. And lastly, why is it important? Why is game mechanic important in any game? Like in any combat game, whether they be like shooter games, whether they be like slashing game. I forgot the slash, and like DMC basically. And also how would one analyze it? How would one create something unique out of it, that is like something that is unintended by the developers, so I will explain that, and I hope that I can explain it well enough for you to understand. And also, I don't want you to take this video's idea 100%. These are just merely my ideas, and I don't want you to take my knowledge as absolute. I'm making this video not because I am the All-Father Odin, the all-knowing. No. I'm making this video because I know it can help players to a certain extent. I know it can help them to understand, to visualize the combat structure of a game. I know it can help them to create their own playstyle. Because I believe that a combat game is good not because it is fast. I believe that a combat game is good is because there are varieties of ways you can play it. I like to imagine that combat mechanic, like anything like structure, like their varieties, I like to imagine them as paintings, because people like to express themselves in many different ways. And one of the ways you can express yourself is through combat games like God of War, DMC. There's a lot of ways you can play you can like combo the enemies. That is a way of self-expression as well, you know. So there is never a fixed way of how you play games. There is never a fixed way of you should do this, you should do this, do that, you know. Yeah, we'll get into that. um yeah, so without further ado, let's get into the video. So the first thing that I'm going to discuss about is the term tech. Now, what is tech in God of War Ragnarok? A tech is it's like a short form for technique. And what is technique? Now, according to Britannica, yes, I'm using Britannica as a reference. I know my professor said don't use Britannica, don't use Britannica, but it fits what I'm trying to say, so I'm gonna use it. So according to Britannica, a technique is a way of doing something by using special knowledge or skill. Now, it is a very similar way to how we use the term tech in God of War Ragnarok as well. A tech is a special skill, a special way of playing God of War Ragnarok. Special because it is an entirely different playstyle to how it is an entirely different playstyle from vanilla combat. Vanilla combat meaning normal combat that doesn't include cancels, that doesn't include game breaking mechanics and all that. So yeah. So what counts as a tech in Ragnarok? So a tech is something that gives player advantage in combat situation, and that can be normal tech. For example, Shatterstar Shield. Let's say you can use Shatterstar Shield as a way of repeating the attack patterns, right? Like block, attack, block, attack, block, attack. That is that is a tech. That is a tech. One of the tech in Ragnarok. And how about the other like game breaking tech? Those are more of a tech cancels. Tech cancels. For example, they're like runic cancels. Runic cancels, Guardian Fury, Invisible Blade. These are tech cancels. Dodge cancels, which is my favorite thing to do in the game. So these are like more unintended part of the combat for Ragnarok. The unintended part I'm going to focus on more in this video because you can do many things with it. Now, since we are focusing more on the tech cancels of the game, it begs the question, how do we do tech in God of War Ragnarok in general? Like, how do we execute them? Well, that is where we are going to discuss regarding setup. Now, a setup, in terms of God of War Ragnarok, it is a way to execute tech. A certain setup is a way to execute a certain tech. So, for example, Guardian Fury. Let's take Guardian Fury for example. Guardian Fury can do many things. Guardian Fury can do a runic cancels. Guardian Fury can do Frozen Fury, which is the double frost. Guardian Fury can let Kratos switch weapons in the middle of the animation, and it can also let Kratos do a returning storm at the end of the animation. So Guardian Fury basically can do a lot of things. And if a tech has a potential follow-up to another tech, that previous tech automatically counts as a setup. And with that in mind, Guardian Fury is a setup. It's a setup to like for many different tech. Like whether that be runic cancels, whether that be double frost, whether that be weapon switching. It's from Guardian Fury. So Guardian Fury is a setup. And the even crazier part is there's also a setup for a setup for a setup for a tech. Now I know that is insane, and you may have like two questions in mind right now. Have I gone too far? Am I going crazy? Probably. And how does that work? How does a setup for a setup for a setup for a tech work? It's okay, bear with me. I'm going to show you guys a clip. I'm going to show you guys a clip of a combo that I did, and I want you to analyze how many setups is there in that one combo. How many setup for a setup for a setup, and until the end. Alright, welcome back. So how many would you guess, like how many setups would you guess there are in that one combo? Now keep in mind that if a tech has a possible follow-up to another tech, that previous tech automatically becomes a setup. So if you were to tell me how many setups there are in that one combo, I would say there are 9 setups. There are 9 setups in that combo. Now, don't worry, I'll explain it through on how I count these setups. And before that, I'll put a picture on screen right now that quickly explains like all the setups in that one combo. I'm gonna give 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. Alright. Now, when I'm analyzing, I don't want you to look at the tech itself. Like, I don't want you to see what kind of tech it is. I want you to see how the tech are executed. So I'm gonna sit right here just for post-production me to put a video right next here. So, and then I'll explain it. So just to like break it down, the first tech that I did in the combo was Garden Fury, right? So you can see I did Garden Fury, and after Garden Fury I did Hell's Touch, which means that Garden Fury is a setup for Hell's Touch. Yeah. So Garden Fury is a setup for Hell's Touch, but what happened after Hell's Touch? What happened after Hell's Touch in that combo? I did the Invisible Blade. So what does this mean? This means that Hell's Touch is a setup for Invisible Blade. And yes, you can do Invisible Blade after Hell's Touch. So Hell's Touch, a setup for Invisible Blade. But what happens after Invisible Blades? Kratos did the Scorching Sweep. So after Invisible Blade, you can do Scorching Sweep. So you can see a pattern here. You can see how I break it down. So after Scorching Sweep, what happens? I pull out the axe. I throw it, and then I went into the Returning Whirlwind. Now here is where I got a bit of like a self-debate of whether I should count this as a setup or not. During the Returning Whirlwind, there was a second animation, which is the second swing. Like if you press Returning Whirlwind, there's a second animation where Kratos does a second spin. So I was debating if I should count this as a setup, and yes, I did count it as a setup, because you would need to activate it. You would need to execute a light throw. As you can see here, like a light throw. You can see that light throw here. to execute the second spin. So that is a setup on its own. And after that, after the second spin, Kratos does the Invaldi's Anvil. And this is also the same situation as well, the same situation as returning Whirlwind. Do I count that second explosion? Do I count that second explosion as a setup? Yes, I do. So yeah, this is like how I analyze it, like breaking each of the move apart instead of like merging them together. So after the second explosion, like at the end of the animation, I did the returning storm. Boom. And after the returning storm, I did the slow-mo spear detonation. And that is the end of the combo. The slow-mo spear detonation does not count as a setup because I didn't do anything after that. So basically, anything like at the end of a combo, is not a setup. And yeah, so this is how I analyze the combo. This is how I count the setup in that combo. So I hope my explanation is clear. So now we understand what is a tech, and we also understand what is a setup, right? Knowing these two, we should be able to understand how the combat mechanic in Ragnarok work. We should understand how tech cancels work in general, right? So now we can finally do some combat. We can finally combo the enemy. But there's one thing, a question that lies underneath. How do we do a setup? I mean, we already know how to do a tech, right? And that's by doing a setup. But how do we do a setup? And that's where we are going to explore the foundation of any tech, the essential part of doing tech cancels, the most like the cinder blocks of everything. So how is it? What are the ways that we can execute a setup that is more important than a setup? What are the moves? Well, there are actually 3 moves that we can do. And I'm gonna start with the most important one. Let's take Guardian Fury again as an example. Before we do Guardian Fury, like for those who knows how to do Guardian Fury, before we do it, what's the first thing that we need to do? A dodge. We need to do a dodge. Yes, a dodge. We also need to do a dodge for Invisible Blade as well, right? We also need to do a dodge in order to do a runic cancel as well. We also need to do a dodge for shortcut or like R1 wave shortcut. So a dodge is very important. It's like the cinder block of everything. It is also important not only for tech cancels but also for transition. So let's take a dodge. Let's see like vanilla combat. When you dodge out of a combo sequence, let's say if you are doing a Blade of Chaos combo sequence, when you dodge out of it, Kratos will transition his combo sequence, and that is a technique as well, because when you dodge, Kratos transition his combo. He doesn't stop, he doesn't reset. And that's also the same thing for tech cancels. If we do a tech cancel, let's say the R1 wave shortcut, that is a transition between like barehanded and the axe. So this one move, which is just a dodge, is already so essential in the game. And it is essential because it is that one move that glues all of our combos together. It is that one move that smoothly transition all of our combos together. And like during combat situation, we don't realize this because it's already embedded in our mind. It's already instinct that okay, we need to dodge in order to start a new setup. In order to do a tech, we need to do a dodge. That's the first thing we need to do. We press the dodge button. So that is one of the essential move in the game. How about the second most essential move in the game? So another move that would be essential would be the Blade of Chaos, left D-pad, unequip. So the Blade of Chaos, left D-pad, unequip. When you unequip the blades, Kratos will do a forward step with his left foot, and with that like forward step, it's an animation, and during that animation, you can execute tech cancel. Just like the dodge, you can use it for transition, and also it is usually faster compared to the dodge. This move is good for a quick way to do a tech cancel, basically a quick way to execute a tech compared to the dodge. There is also a similar move in another game, and that is God of War 2018. And the essential move in that game is LD-pad, Blade of Chaos, equip. So in that game, you will need to equip the Blade of Chaos, and once you equip, Kratos will do the same step forward with his left foot. So the same thing applies to 2018. When Kratos does the left foot step animation, you can do tech cancels. And since we are talking about 2018, the setup and tech cancels for 2018 is almost similar to Ragnarok. And the only difference is that the way that you start your tech, the way that you start your setup is different. And also obviously the moveset for 2018 is different. There is no Draupnir spear in 2018, but there is a lot of barehanded skill tree that Ragnarok doesn't have. So that is what I'm referring to for the difference. But despite that, in order to do tech cancels in both games, animations would need to be layered on top of each other. And to do that, we need to identify the base of a tech cancel. And what better way to do it is with a dodge. And with a left D-pad unequip for Ragnarok, left D-pad equip for God of War 2018. And yeah, so going back to Ragnarok, I've covered 2 essential moves so far, and I will tell you the third one, and that would be exiting Legacy Rage. So just to give a limelight, this move was also made popular by another God of War combat player that goes by the name of TMO. He also made a showcase video, which was like almost 2 years ago, like showcasing the tech in the combo. So I'll have his video link down below in the description, and be sure to check him out. So how do you do the tech? How do you execute a tech after Legacy Rage? Well, it's already in the name. You need to exit Legacy Rage. And when you exit Legacy Rage, Kratos can only do a certain tech. And that tech is the forward attack and the backward evasive. And the reason why I'm noting this down as a essential move is because an essential move does not depend on each other. So let's say the dodge. If you want to do a dodge, you don't have to do LD pad. You just simply press the dodge button, right? And if you want to do LD pad, you don't have to do the dodge. So it doesn't depend on each other. And going back to Legacy Rage, even though the forward attack and the backward evasive requires you to do a dodge, There is also another way that you can do a tech cancel, and that is by doing a quick turn after exiting Legacy Rage. So yeah, you can still do tech cancel after you exit Legacy Rage and do a quick turn. And another thing is, if you were to remove all three essential moves that I have mentioned, if you were to remove the dodge, Dpad, Unequip, and Legacy Rage quick turn, doing tech cancels in Ragnarok will be difficult. Keyword is difficult, not impossible, because these are only like by far the essential move that I have noted down. So if you have any like other essential move that does not depend on these three, let me know down in the comment so we can have a discussion. I would love to try it out. So now we finally understand what is a tech, what is a setup, and what is an essential move. So from this, we can vividly imagine a structure. So in order to do a tech cancel, we need a base, and a base is an essential move. And after that, we do a setup for a setup and ending it with a tech. So there is a start, middle, and end in a combo. So after this, I will show you how I imagine or how I visualize the tech cancel combo in Ragnarok. So now I'm going to show you how I visualize the tech cancel combo structure for God of War. Now, before we do a combo, we need a base, and the base is an essential move. And the essential move that we are going to use will be the dodge. So let's say you do a dodge. So when you do a dodge, you automatically create branches. You automatically create a lot of branches. Let me just make my own branches here. So these are branches, and what these branches are, or like what I call them, are branches of possibilities. Because after you do a dodge, you can basically do multiple different things. Let's say after a dodge, you can either do G Fury, or you can either do Runic Cancel, or maybe you would like to do the R1 Wave shortcut. So there are a lot of ways, a lot of possibilities basically. And since we are using the term branches, I'm going to use a tree as a visualization. So this one already looks like a tree. And just to put out a question, what does a tree have? So let's see. A tree has roots. It has roots, right? So these are the roots of the tree. And it also has a base. These are the base of the tree. Base and the roots. So it goes up from here. And then this is where we draw the branches of trees. Let's see how good my drawing skills are, or how terrible it is. So when there's branches, there will be obviously leaves. There's leaves on the tree. So there are leaves here. I'm gonna draw leaves. I'm just gonna split the tree, one with leaves, one without it, so it's easier to see. So these are the branches. So what do all these represent? Well, first we have the root and the base of the tree. So the root and the base, the root here uh, represents the essential move, which is the dodge. It represents the essential move. The roots and the base, their purpose are to keep everything standing, is to keep the tree standing, is to keep everything together. And then we go up, and then we see the branches. And what does the branches represent? So the branches here represents the setup, of the setup of the combo. So it is a structure basically. The essential move is what glues everything together. These are the setup. A setup for a setup for a setup. So a setup for a setup for a setup. And what about the leaves? The leaves represent the tech, the end of the tech cancel combo, like at the very end of it. So leaves represents tech. Because remember, when a tech has a potential follow-up to another tech, that previous tech automatically counts as a setup. And if you end the combo with a tech without any follow-up, it only consider as a tech. So the leaves are what's at the end of those branches. The branches produces those leaves. So that is how I would like visualize. So these are like the general visualization, the general view of what happens after you do a dodge, or like what happens during a combo basically. Now before we move on, this is only a general view. This is like just a theory of how, or like what happens after you do an essential move. These are only branches of possibilities. Now in an actual combo, you can only choose one branch at a time. Try to imagine that all of these branches are pathways, and you can only choose one path at a time. You can only choose one branch at a time, one setup at a time. So let's try to put this theory to test. Let's have a bit of fun. Let's try to create a combo, and let's try to imagine a combo by using this branch setup. So now we are going to do an exercise, and that exercise is to create a combo by using our imagination. So what's the first move that I'm going to do? Well, I plan to launch the enemy up. So first I'm going to use the Blade of Chaos to grab the enemy and launch it up. So Blade of Chaos, launch, grab. So after that launch, after that, since I already have the Blade of Chaos equipped, I'm going to use Dpad Unequip, which is an essential move. So Dpad Unequip, and by doing this, I have automatically created multiple branches of possibilities of what I can do. I can either do a barehanded combo, or I can either do a invisible blade. But for this one, I am going to do invisible blade. So I will choose this path basically. So after doing invisible blade, I want it to become a setup. This invisible blade is a setup for what should it be? It could will be a setup for Scorching Sweep, because I love to do Scorching Sweep after Invisible Blade. I mean, I could do a whole R1. This is a whole R1, but I would like to do Scorching Sweep. So this is Scorching Sweep, and after Scorching Sweep, I want it to become a setup. A setup for what? A setup for a maybe let me think. Maybe Scorching Sweep can be a setup for runic cancels, which is Invaldi's Anvil. So I'm gonna go for Invaldi's Anvil runic cancel, and after that runic cancel, I want it to end there. So this becomes attack. This is the leaf. So this is the runic cancel. So it ends there. And now I am going to do another essential move, which is the dodge. This is still in the same combo. So I am going to do the dodge. So I have automatically create multiple branches of possibilities again. So you can see a pattern here. Multiple, like when you do a dodge or like when you do an essential move, there are possibilities, but you can only choose one path. So a dodge, maybe I'll do G Fury, which is this way. So this right here is the path for Guardian Fury. So after Guardian Fury, I'll probably do a X launch. So I mean, I could do another runic cancel. This is the runic cancel path, but I would like to do the X launch. So the X launch, what is it a setup for? Maybe it can be a setup for a barehanded attack. Maybe I would go for like barehanded like combo. So during this barehanded combo, it can lead to another essential move. Maybe I might plan to do a Pride of the Frost shortcut, let's say. And in order to do that, I need to do a dodge, which is another essential move. I need to do a dodge and then Pride of the Frost shortcut of Frost shortcut. So you can see here in this combo there are about 3 essential moves. So these are the essential move right here. There are about 3 of them, and these are the setup. These branches are the setup. Like when they are connected, they are the setup. So that is how I visualize. This is how I see the branches. This is how I see the structure of the combo. Now let's see if this combo actually works in game. So why am I showing you this? Why am I showing you these structure, these essential move, these branches? Well, of course, it is to help you to analyze how a tech cancel work, because a tech cancel in general is already very like overwhelming. Like if you see someone do a tech cancel, you wouldn't understand what's happening on screen. So with these structure, you would understand how a tech cancel start and how it ends. And how does it start? It starts with an essential move. You can see here there's 3 essential moves in the combo that I just showed you. So if you can spot these essential moves in a tech cancel combo, you can easily understand how does tech cancel work. And the second reason of why I'm showing you this is because it is to make you more creative in your playstyle. because every player in every combat player, ABG, Tyler, 2 number 9, TMO, like any any combat player, each of them has their own playstyle. Each of them has their own branch. No one follows the same branches. And of course, there are inspiration as well. Inspiration from other players, inspiration from each other. So this is how playstyle works. Like, this is the uniqueness, the variety that you can come up with in the God of War combat. So now I have given you my structure, my idea, the setup, and the playstyle. So after this, it is up to you on however you want to use this idea that I have given you, because I'm giving this idea, this structure, not only because I want you to follow it. I also want you to improve upon it. I want you to analyze it, to break it apart. And also, I believe that learning isn't just about following what's there. I believe that learning is also improving what's already there. So let's say that I am giving you various colors and a paintbrush and an empty canvas. Those are the only things that I given you, and it's up to you on how you would want to paint. How would you want to express yourself? How would you like to create something unique out of it? So as I mentioned earlier, don't take my knowledge as absolute. Why? Because nothing is fixed. Everything changes over time, and that is why I'm giving you that creative freedom. And also, being a part of this God of War combat community, I am contributing to this idea, this creative, like pushing this creativity out there. And yeah, and with that, that is the end of part 1 of this video. And next, I'll be explaining something outside of Ragnarok. It'll be about combat. It'll be about gameplay variety, but it'll be with different games as well, and also taking some examples. So yeah, let's go. So with this structure that I have made up for myself, how would I apply them to other games? Well, I only applied some of the structure, and I mean some is just the essential move, because applying the essential move in other games makes sense, because a combo has to start somewhere, and a combo has to end. There's no combo in the world that goes for infinity, as far as I know of. So yeah, so that is how I would use that structure. And when you find the essential move, when you know what is essential in that game, you can build up that structures, like slowly build up that structure and slowly understand how the game mechanic work. And with that, doing this, there are more ways you can play than you realize. There are more variety of playstyle than you realize in that game. And again, because it's another game, there are probably a lot more essential move. Maybe there might be 10. Now, essential move can be anything. It doesn't have to stick to tech cancels only. The meaning is not fixed for in terms of like combat. So just to give an idea is that essential move can just be juggling the enemy up in the air, or like launching the enemy up in the air. That is your move. That is the start of the combo. So from that essential move, from that start, how do you build up? How do you build up your combo? So that is how I would apply it to other games. Essential move. And another way that you can try to play is try to break the rules. Break the rules. How would you break the rules in other games? Well, every aspect made by the developers has intention behind them. For example, the story. The story has intention. The level design, it has intention. They would want you to go there using yellow paint. Music also has intentions. They want you to feel something. Even in game mechanic has the developers has intentions behind it. So let's, for example, going back to Ragnarok, the no-look dodge. Now, what is a no-look dodge? Well, it is in the name. You dodge without looking, and that is breaking the rules. You know, normally if you were to make a game, you would need to have the dodge button, right? And in order to dodge, you would need to look at the enemy, and that is what the developer expects from the player, expects from you to do, like looking and dodging. But breaking that rule is looking away and then dodging. The developer would not have thought of that. It would not have known that is what the players are going to do, breaking the rules. So there you go. So let's take an example outside of God of War. I know we've been talking about God of War a lot, not other games. So let's take Sekiro, for example. I've been playing Sekiro quite a lot, quite recently as well. I've been streaming it and I love that game. And that game actually has gameplay variety. There are multiple ways you can play it, and also fun mechanics as well. Mainly the parries, the Mikiri counter, the lightning jump, the spirit emblems with like the hand tool thingy. So many things that you can do in that game, and I love it. And also with this, like these, like Mikiri, these counter, these parries, there are intentions behind that. They would expect you to dodge forward to do the Mikiri counter, but you don't have to do that always. You can do a backward dodge, I guess. And that's how I've been playing. I've been trying to break the rules in Sekiro. I've been trying to not follow what the boss are intending to do. Oh, the bosses are so good in that game. So yeah, I'm going to stop glazing so much of it now, and I'm going to say what I want to say first. Now, the main thing that I want to talk about regarding Sekiro is the community problem. Now, I'm not saying this is like in the entire community, just some of my experience while streaming Sekiro. Now, again, not saying this is the entire community. No, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. So, just from my experience, during my Sekiro like streaming, there were certain people who like come and join my stream, and like trying to help, like intending to help me with the bosses, and their way of helping is like is trying to tell you to not do certain things. Do don't use certain abilities. Don't use certain this. Use this. Use that. What I'm trying to say is like it's like forcing people into their play style. That is what I'm trying to say. Forcing you into their branches, their ideal branches of play style. And I know their intentions are good. They are trying to help. They are trying to see me win. But most of the time, for me, I don't go for the victory. I love the process. So by doing this, the uh, by limiting the abilities, by limiting the moves, it limits the like potential gameplay from that person, like potential gameplay variety from that person. And again, I'm not saying that I don't like help. I do like help, but their their way of wording things is as if they are forcing that gameplay, as if they are trying to force their own ideal of gameplay. I do like help. Definitely like help people when they're in need. But there are certain ways there are ways for you to help them correctly. Like I have realized this, but I'm just like really, so this sort of like removes that sense of discovery. And that sense of discovery is the best feeling that you could ever have playing a game. It's like finding a piece of treasure in the sands. And that's how God of War, or like God of War tech cancel in general, was discovered. It's purely by accident. It's by thinking outside the box. It's a lot of experimenting, a lot of breaking the rules, doing something that is unintended, doing something outside of vanilla combat. So if you break the rules and break the game will open up way more variety. And you might be asking, why break the game? Why not just play normally? Well, my answer to that is because it's fun. It's fun to find secrets. It's fun to find something new in a game. Games are meant to be fun. And that's why I like to play Skyrim a lot, because there's like so many new things that I have not discovered yet until now. There's still so many new caves and so many new tombs in that game. It just works. That was bad. I don't know how I would fit that joke in there. But what happens if you remove the fun? Let's take Wukong for example. Shortly after the game release, player have found tech cancels already, and after that, it got to the attention of the game developer, and they created a patch that removes the glitch. And this sort of split the community, where some people were pretty happy that it got removed, and some were really angry that it got removed. And if you were to ask me how I would feel, I felt disappointed, because I was there when the tech was slowly getting really popular. I think I watched either saw Fullborn or Not Harvard, or maybe GBG. I, either like four of them. I forgot who I watched it from, but definitely uh, mostly it was like GBG, where he was showcasing the tech. He was showcasing it everywhere, and it came with like consequences. They had to like remove it. And coming from a combat like tech cancel player, this really does appeal to me. Like I was so excited when I saw it, and then after they removed it, it like kills the excitement a little bit for me, but it doesn't make the game any more like it doesn't make the game bad. The game is still good now. There's a lot of variety of playstyles in that game. I can see it, but yeah, it's their choice. Cannot say much. I'm not a game developer, so I can't say much. It's their game, it's their choice. They shape however their games want to be. It's their art, so I don't mind that. And again, I'm not saying that tech cancels are the only way to make a game good. No, that's not 100% true. Even like normal intended combat is still has a lot of variety, and you could still break the rule even without tech cancel. I mean, tech cancel is just the pinnacle of rule breaking. It's something that's unintended by the developers, but you could still break the rules even without tech cancels. Even with vanilla combat, you could still do it. So if you were to remove like the tech in a game like such as Wukong, like what else should be done? Well, just to like give my thoughts, what they could do is that they should improve the glitch instead of removing it. I know this is like easier said than done. I'm not a game developer. I don't code games. I don't know how difficult it'll be, but I have seen like other games where instead of removing a glitch, they improved it. So just to take an example, would be Warframe. I have been playing Warframe for quite a lot. I've been like getting a lot of leveling up. I can't speak. Leveling up in that game, and it's like really like addicting. And in that game, there's this one move called bullet jump, and I heard that it was originally a glitch founded by a player, and once it got the attention of the developer, it made it into a feature. It made it into the main feature of the game. That bullet jump is everyone is using it right now. It started off as a glitch. And another if you want another example closer to home would be God of War. Look at God of War. There's still tech, and even the combat director loves the tech cancels. He adores it. So there you go. So instead of like removing it, the developer can improve it. Just quoting Denzel Washington, don't see it as a problem, see it as a opportunity. So that is like my favorite quote from him. So that will be the end of part 2, and I know like more than half of the part 2 is just me ranting about like other games, but I feel like it is important to bring this up. It is important to bring up this issue, this situation. And also, before I end the video, I do have something that I want to say. So I have it written down here. So first is play however you want. Just don't mind what others says. If you are confident in your gameplay, if you are confident in yourself, then definitely just go for it. And if you are not confident, then definitely ask for help. There are people who are willing to help you in games. There are people who are willing to see you win against the bosses. So definitely like like play however you like, play however you would want. And secondly is the structure that I given in part 1. You can either follow it, or you can either improve it, or you can either forget it altogether. It is your choice. I don't mind it. But even if you do forget it, I have hope that after watching this video, After watching this video, I don't want you to limit others people gameplay. I like, instead of limiting their gameplay, if you want to help them, all you could do is just ask. Just ask, do you need help? Do you need help with this boss? Don't just go to their face and say, "Follow me, my child. Follow me and you will find fulfillment in this gameplay style." Don't force them. Don't do that. Cannot do that. That is bad. So yeah, that's about it. And and I appreciate everyone for watching. Have a good day and have a good night. I know my throat is like already about to I need to drink some water. Have a good day and have a good night, and I appreciate for the like, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.